Welcome, everyone, to our third annual StudioPlus Connections 2014 User Conference. We're thrilled to have all of you guys here with us. We got a lot of great content planned for the next 3 days, so we're very excited about that. And my name is Matt Hunt. I'm the guy that kind of kicked this whole thing off about 16, 17 years ago. I'm getting older every year, and unlike any of you guys. So I'm the president and founder of StudioPlus, and I'm just thrilled to have all you guys here. Before we kind of get things started, I just want to share a couple personal words with all of you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys coming. I know how valuable your time is. Okay, I know you guys squeeze every minute out of every day to get everything done, and the fact that you've chosen to come and spend 3 days here learning about our products and what we can offer you guys, that's awesome, and it just really means a lot to me. As a fellow business owner, as an entrepreneur, I know what it's like to run a small business. Okay, a lot of you guys have made a lot of sacrifices. You put in a ton of hours, a ton of time, trying to juggle family and work. You have the responsibility to meet all of the financial burdens, not only for your own family, but for all of your employees. And that's it's a lot. And the fact that you guys have placed your trust into us as a company, into our products and our services, and into me and my staff, it's very humbling for me. And I know it's not true for everybody, but for me, it is. I'm very humbled by the fact that you guys have placed your trust into us to help you guys build your business. And I take that very seriously. I know that the success of your company is going to have a lot to deal with how we perform as a company. How well are the products and services that we provide? If we put out crappy software and you go and log in and all your data has just magically disappeared, you're in trouble, okay? But yet, if we can provide products and services to you guys that really help you guys exceed and grow your business, become more profitable, and cut your costs, then that's awesome. That's great, and that's what we're all about. So, we take it very seriously, and our real focus as a company is really centered around helping you guys build successful businesses. It's not on helping us build a successful business. Our focus has to be on helping you guys build successful and profitable businesses. And that's why we do user conferences like this. We don't do it to make money. Our goal is just to break even every year to cover the cost of doing it. But if we can do services like this that help you guys out, then, by all means, we want to do that. Now, having said all that, I'm the first one to admit that sometimes we as a company may fall a little short. Sometimes we don't provide the high level of quality of services and products that we strive to. Once in a while, very, very rare, but once in a while it has been reported that you may find a bug in one of our softwares. Okay? Haven't heard about it in a while, actually a couple minutes ago. So, we're not perfect. There are times that we're going to fall short. But just, understand this, that we are here to be your partners. Okay? And you have my personal commitment that we will do whatever we can to help you guys out. And all that I ask is that if there's ever a time that you're not completely happy with the products or services that we're providing, just let me know. Okay? Give me a call, shoot me an email, say, hey Matt, we got a little issue, whatever it might be. And I can't give you any guarantees, but I can tell you this, that I will go to bat for you. I'll do whatever I can to make it right and resolve the issue. And so, as long as you guys want to continue to partner with us, we want to partner with you guys. And we're in it for the long haul. And whatever we can do to help you guys, let us know. We're here for you. So with that, that's my little opening spiel. And let's kind of kick things off and get things started. One of the most common questions that I often get asked is, so how did we get started? Are you a photographer? How did StudioPlus get started? When did it get started? And so forth. So I want to just take a couple minutes to kind of give you a little brief history of how we kind of got to this point. And
I started kind of my first company in 1995. I think I was like 24 years old at the time, and started a company, tried to come up with the most creative business name that I could. So it was called MB Hunt Software. And we were in the business of developing custom software applications for any type of business. We're located in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so that's how we got started in 1995. Then in 1997, I was approached by a photographer who was looking for a solution, and we kind of hit it off, and I asked him, I said, if you could help us understand photographers, we will develop studio management software for the photographic industry, and we will develop it year after year and see that mature. So 17 years ago, I'm not sure that I still understand photographers, okay? I got kind of that geeky mindset going, and I don't have that creative side that all of you do. But so we started development in 1997, and we released our first version of StudioPlus in January of 1998. In the year 2000, we did split the StudioPlus software product off into its own company. So the company name was StudioPlus Software. So that's when that officially kind of got kicked off. In 2010 is when we did acquire the Photo One software. For those of you who don't know the whole story behind that, Photo One is, obviously was a competitor of ours, been around in the industry for a long time, actually a little bit longer than we had been. But the product was kind of at the end of its life cycle, and Stuart was at a point where he really could not develop it, move it forward with all the new technology that was out there. So he and I kind of started talking about, well, what are our options and what to do about it, and we kind of decided that the best option would be for us to acquire Photo One, and we made a couple commitments to Stuart. One was that we would provide an upgrade path for customers that wanted to switch over to StudioPlus products, that they could, and we could help them convert their data, and we would help them make that switch over to a product that has still a lot of life expectancy left in it. And the other commitment we made is that we would continue to support Photo One, and we still do that today. So if there's any users out there still using Photo One and don't want to switch, that's perfectly fine. We're here to continue to provide support for that product. So we have two offices. Our main headquarters are in Cambridge, Minnesota, just a small town just north of Minneapolis, St. Paul. But we also have tech support offices in Columbia Falls, Montana, and we have employees kind of spread out throughout the United States as well. So over the years, as I kind of been developing this company, there's always been certain things that have always been really important to me in developing the company. And so one day I sat down and said, I'm just going to kind of write down my thoughts. And that kind of formed our 4 core values as a company. And you can go on our website and go to our About Us page and read kind of the full verbiage of that. But I just wanted to share with you kind of what those 4 key points are this morning. First of all, customer focus. Serving our customers with excellence and treating them with the same diligence, courtesy, and respect that we desire ourselves. It's kind of what I started off by saying. You guys are our focus. And I try to ingrain this in all of our employees, that we have to be above and everything else focused on you guys and what your needs are, and how can we best help you guys, and how can we treat you and communicate with you the same way that we would want to be worked with if we were on the other end of the telephone or whatever it might be. Secondly, it's constant innovation. In today's changing world, continuous, creative, out-of-the-box development is key to ensuring our customers' success. We could have a great product today, but next year it's on its way out. Technology is changing very, very rapidly, and we have to make sure that we're always constantly innovating. Highest quality, we're committed to providing excellence in the products and services that we provide as a company. And lastly, utmost integrity. Everything that we do is guided by what's right. And within our company, that means how we treat each other, how we treat our customers, how we treat our vendors, and how we treat our competitors. We want to make sure that above all, we're a company of integrity, and we're going to treat everyone with the same fairness and honesty and respect that that we would desire ourselves. So those are kind of the 4 of the core values that have always been important to me, and hopefully you will see that in our company. And if there's ever a time that you don't, hey, I don't think we're quite living up to those core values, then, let me know. I need to know that as the owner, and I always give you guys permission to contact me. So with that, let me talk to you a little bit about how to best contact us. This whole user conference is about connections and making connections with each other, making connections with us and our staff and our products and so forth. So I want to give you all my contact details. You're welcome to jot it down. There's my email address, my office direct line, and there's my mobile number. So if there's ever a time that you need to get a hold of me, whether it's urgent or it's just to chat, it's just to share an idea, you're welcome to give me a call. I do travel quite a bit. I'm out of the office quite a bit at customer sites, but I'll certainly do my best to get back to you or to take your call and have that chat with you. Another great way to connect with us is through our website. We have a lot of great resources on our website. Many people aren't aware of everything that we have on there, so let me just highlight a couple things. First of all, on the website, if you ever go to our website and click this Getting Help link right here, that is a great page for you guys to bookmark, because that's a page that we will place product announcements. Anytime we create new content, if we create a new video or a new knowledge base article, we'll put a link on there. So that's kind of your go-to site as an existing customer to find out what's latest and greatest and new information about what's going on. Secondly, would be dealing with all of our blogs. So again, when you log in, if you were to click on this little icon right up here, that will take you to our blogs. We have 3 different blogs that we maintain as a company. A company blog, which is my personal blog, where I talk about a lot of new product announcements, direction that we're heading, or important types of company-wide information for you. We also have our support blog, where we put tech support information up there. If we notice a lot of customers are having an issue with something, we can put a tech support blog up there. If we're having some kind of a service outage, if you're using any of our online products and we need to make you aware of it, like, hey, SMS texting might be down, we will post that onto that support blog to communicate that with you. And then thirdly is our learning blog. This is where we're putting how-to type stuff, training materials, and so that's another great blog. So what you should do, all of you should do this, is log in and subscribe to any one of these blogs. If you just subscribe to one, you're automatically going to be subscribed to all 3. And that way, anytime that we do a blog announcement or a post, you will get an email and let you know. People often ask, well, I didn't know we had a new service release, or I didn't know that. And well, if you subscribe to our blogs, you will get all of those notices and be kept in the loop of everything that we're doing. So please do that. Another great way to connect with us is on Facebook. There's this nice little blue button right here at the top of our page that says like. So if you haven't done that, if you do like us, we appreciate clicking on that. And then we will link our little Facebook sites together. Okay? Twitter, we do some Twitter feeds. So there's a little Twitter handle here. So if you're a Twitter follower, you can follow our Twitter feed. So some great ways to connect with us. Make sure you take advantage of all of those resources. Okay, well, last year was a very, very busy year for us. Every year is busy, of course, but last year was especially busy. We started off the year with our user conference, our second user conference. Last year it was in Atlanta. We had tied it with the Imaging USA trade show, and obviously this year we're here in Vegas with the WPPI trade show. And at that 2013 user conference, that's where we debuted our 2013 version of Spectra. And last year, in the Spectra release, let me just kind of recap some of the highlights from that. There were some great new features that we added a year ago. Hopefully all of you guys have been taking advantage of those things. We added 28 new KPIs, key performance indicators, to our dashboard. Even before 2013, I always felt like our dashboard was by far, one of the best in the industry for providing analysis information to you guys, telling you how well you guys are doing building your businesses and giving that real-time feedback to you in a nice graphical, live and dynamic way. So one of our seminars here this week is going to be talking about the dashboard if you're not using it. But last year we made a major step forward by adding 28 new KPIs. I think now we're over 40 or 50 different key performance indicators that we can help you with. So that was a big part of 2013. We also added integration with Lightroom, which helped kind of create a real dynamic and efficient raw workflow. We added a lot of new features to our automatic trigger processor to help you guys get even more automation tools to help you automatically connect with your customers without having to actually do anything. Like, for example, automatically sending birthday reminder or happy birthday emails or text messages on a client's birthday and those types of things. We also created a brand new HTML email designer to kind of make that process a little bit easier for you to implement HTML emails. We also added some little things, but for a lot of our customers, these were big request items, like the ability to merge two client records together. If they had two duplicates, you want to merge all their data together, we added that. This was a really common feature that was requested, was the ability to view your sunrise and sunsets on the calendar. So people, I don't know why it took us so long to add that, but people seem to love that feature. We also did a brand new priceless maintenance overhaul. So we completely overhauled our priceless maintenance screen last year, making it much easier to help you guys maintain your products and prices. We added some really new cool high school yearbook tracking features a year ago. And I think it's our advanced digital workflow session that I'll be leading. We'll be talking about that for those of you that do a lot of high school senior photography. So we added that last year. There were dozens of other new features. All of these features that we had added were kind of requested by customers. So 2013 was definitely a big release for us a year ago. A little bit later on in the year, I think it was in April, we released our first version of our Stratus web app. And that was a big moment for us. We had spent about 2.5, 3 years getting to that point of getting ready to launch the Stratus web app. And just for those of you that aren't quite sure what Stratus is, you think of it as a web-based version of Spectra, that you're already using, but instead of the database residing in your local system, the database sits up in the mysterious cloud that everybody talks about. Okay. And the database sits up there, and you can access your data, your management software from anywhere in the world, as long as you have an internet connection. So that's Spectra is the software that you install on your local computers, and then Stratus is our cloud-based solution. When we had set out to start development of Stratus, 3 years ago, there were a couple key points that were very important to us. First of all, we did not want to compromise on features. We wanted to build a really first-class, first-rate studio management, business management, and digital workflow solution in the cloud. Just to be able to gain mobility, we didn't want to have to give up on features. So that was very important to us. Secondly, we wanted to be able to create an easy migration path for our existing customers, so that if the day comes that you would like to switch over from Spectra to a cloud-based solution, that transition could be very easy for you, okay? You guys don't want to go and learn, a new piece of software from scratch, and we don't want you to either, okay? And also, we wanted to make sure that all the data that you had in Spectra would be able to convert over to Stratus, so you could keep all of that data and not lose that. So those were two things that were very important to us as we were developing this. So for those of you that have not actually seen Stratus, let me just give you a little demo here. So I'm going to flip over to my browser. I have a Wi-Fi connection here. And I'm going to go ahead and just log in. We'll steal Josiah's login here. So as we're logging into this, hopefully the first thing that you're going to notice is a very familiar look to the software. Okay, it has a very similar look to Spectra, a little different color, a little different name, but we have our home page. We have our same menu structure across the top. Okay, so I can go to my calendar. It's the same type of layout. I can view my different employees, my different time slots, my different schedules. I can go to my session hub. I can do a search for a session. I can go and drill down and open up a session record. Okay, so there's a session record just like you're used to inside Spectra. A lot of the same information is all laid out and put in the same spots. I could go and click on the Images tab. So actually I'm viewing these images. These images are actually residing up in the cloud in your Stratus Drive server. And that's where it's pulling and storing those images from. So over the next couple of days we'll talk about some of those opportunities for you to store your data in the cloud. Let me drill down one more, and we'll go and open up an invoice. Again, just like you would inside Spectra. You notice how we have different windows here that are open? So there's my invoice record. I can go over here to my session record, and I can go and open up a client record. So just like you can in Spectra, you have the ability to have multiple windows open kind of within the confines of your browser. So it's all web-based, and hopefully it's going to be real easy for you to switch over to that. Okay, so that's just kind of a quick overview, just so you kind of get a taste as to what that web app is like. But the real advantage of a Stratus cloud-based solution like this is the fact that, number one, it's mobile. You can have access to it from anywhere. Anytime you have an internet device, a device with an internet connection, you can have access to your Stratus data. We just require an internet connection, so you can run it on your iPad, you could run it on a tablet, a laptop, a workstation, a Mac. It's all fully compatible. We don't rely on Flash in any way, so it just works right inside the browser. And the other thing the other big advantage of a cloud-based Stratus solution like this is the fact that you don't have to worry about managing your database at all. We take that responsibility. We manage it. We manage all your backups. We keep like 10 backups for every one of our customers. And we take care of all your upgrades for you. And so what you're doing is you're kind of offloading all of that IT management off to us. And so that way it simplifies that whole process for you guys. So that's another big advantage of a cloud-based Stratus type solution. Okay, then a little bit later on last year, we did launch our mobile apps for, I think it was in November, we launched our iPhone and iPad mobile apps for Stratus. So you can go to the Apple App Store and download those and install them. There's no charge for them. It's just a part of your Stratus subscription. And so what's great about these mobile apps is the fact that it gives you access to your data, and even if you don't have an internet connection. So, maybe you have a Wi-Fi connection, it will automatically sync your data, but then you go and you disconnect from the internet, or you don't have an internet connection, you can still have access to your data offline. So that's a great feature with the mobile apps. So last year, we were at the point where we had these two great components of what we think is going to be a great cloud-based solution for our customers. Okay, we got the cloud, we had the mystratus.com web app, so you could just log in through your browser, and then we had the MyStratus mobile apps that we had introduced. However, we weren't happy with that. We realized a part of our commitment, that key point that was important to us, was to be able to not sacrifice on feature set if customers wanted to switch over to a cloud-based solution. And so here we were with a robust desktop software like Spectra. How could we help our customers have all of that robust functionality that you have in Spectra, but have that in the cloud? So today I'm really thrilled to announce a preview release of a brand new StudioPlus product for our family, and that's called the Stratus Desktop software. So let me give you kind of a little illustration to kind of help picture how Stratus Desktop would work. Stratus Desktop is an actual software application that you would install on your local computer, just like you do with Spectra. But the difference is, instead of connecting to your local database that you have, it has the ability to connect to your cloud database sitting up in the cloud. So picture this for a moment. Let's say at your studio you got 5, 10 computers all running the Stratus Desktop app, okay, with all the same features and functionality that you're used to in Spectra. Okay, so you got Stratus Desktop running on all your computers at the studio. Meanwhile, you decide to stay home today and try and get a little extra work done without some distractions. And so you have Stratus Desktop also installed at your home. Okay? Meanwhile, one of your photographers is driving the company Lamborghini to a photo shoot. Yeah. And that person forgets the location. How do I get to where I need to go? So they pull up their iPhone and pull up the Stratus mobile app, views their schedule for the day, clicks on it, and then clicks the map button, and it tells them how to get to that client's home or wherever the location is for their appointment. Okay, is that cool? Yep. And then you have another employee who, a salesperson, is going to go meet a customer at a local coffee shop, and they're taking their laptop or their tablet with them, and they're going to need the ability to book an appointment, or maybe to make a sale, to record an invoice. So they're going to open up the web app, record an invoice, and record a payment, and actually process that customer's credit card right there in the local cafe. But all of these people are working real time off of the same consolidated database residing in the cloud. Real time. So as soon as one person makes a change, it's immediately available for anybody else. You could have a retoucher over in China doing all of your retouching for you and have access to your data and even to your images. And as they're changing things, it's changing real time in your live studio database. Okay? So hopefully that gives you a little illustration of the power of a cloud-based solution and what it could mean for you guys. So let me tell you a little bit about how we went about developing the Stratus Desktop app. As I mentioned before, Spectra is, in my opinion, the most robust business management and digital workflow combined solution in the photographic industry. Okay? When we've been spending, like I said, 16, 17 years developing this code. So what we did was we took all of that code that we've been developing over the past 16, 17 years, and we took it and we, watch this, we changed the color to blue. We gave it a little different name called Stratus Desktop. And then we changed some of that mysterious magic behind the scenes so that this software would have the ability to connect to a database real time up in the cloud instead of a database residing in your local studio. Other than that, it is the exact same software that all of you guys have come to know and to love or hate, called Spectra. So all the features and functionality that you have in Spectra is available in the Stratus Desktop app. So, if you don't believe me, let me show you. So what I have running here is the Stratus Desktop app. Again, it looks just like Spectra. It's got the Stratus Blue going on, the different name. But as I go through all of these different tabs, picture that I am in Spectra just like you would be. So I'm clicking on this, I'm viewing my images. I'm going to go and let's go to the calendar. So here is the Spectra calendar that all of you guys have loved. But as I'm clicking on this, it is actually going out over our Wi-Fi connection to our cloud database sitting up in the cloud and pulling down information. So if I go to client search here, for example, and I just do a quick search for a client last name of Hunt, there it is, pulled up 2 records. Let's go ahead and delete that, and let's find all of the client records. Now, none of this information is cached on my local system at all. So as I click enter, it just went up to the cloud and downloaded. I only got 726 clients, but it pulled down those 726 clients pretty quickly. I go down and view my sessions, view all of my sessions, go and open it up. It is the same software as Spectra, just with a different color, a different name, and a little different back end. Okay, pretty cool. Yes, I am right now running the standard version. So right now the production module is hidden, but if I was running the professional version, yes, all of those features, the dashboard, the production, all of those features would be available to you. Okay? So over the next couple of days, as we're talking about Spectra, keep in mind that they're really interchangeable. You could be using Spectra, or you could be using the Stratus desktop app. Either way, a lot of the features and functionality we're talking about are not, restricted to one or the other. It's the same in both. So what this allows us to do moving forward is to now add common code to both products and move both products forward at the same time. So we're not telling customers, hey, you got to switch over to Stratus. They're two different applications. They got both their pros and their cons, advantages and disadvantages. So it's a decision up to you as to when you want to migrate over to a cloud-based solution, and any upgrades and functionality we continue to add are going to be added to both products moving forward. So it's not that one's being left behind in any way. Today, we're not only announcing the preview release of Stratus Desktop 2014, but we're also announcing the preview release of Spectra 2014 preview release. So all of you have received jump drives with the Spectra 2014 installer, and we have been very busy at work. We started development of this version last June, I think it was, and so we've been busy adding a lot of great new features. And today I want to highlight some of those new features for you to show you what we've been busy doing, and some new features that you're going to be able to take advantage of within your studio. I'm not going to cover them all. We'll kind of touch on some throughout the next couple of days, but let's go through some of these highlights. The first one that I'm really excited about has been added to the workflow. Both Stratus and Spectra 2014, we've added a new, very sophisticated image adjustment tool to help you guys manage all of your image adjustments that you need to make to your images. So the goal with this feature is to help you guys save countless labor-intensive hours that your staff goes through working on your images, getting them ready for sales presentations and getting them ready for orders and so forth. It's our goal that this feature alone can really help you guys cut some of your, obviously labor is one of your biggest expenses that you guys have, and how can we help automate that and cut some of those expenses. So let me give you just a kind of quick overview as to how some of this works. So this button has been in the software for a while, but never really did a whole lot. So now it's really powerful. So I'm going to click on this button, and it's going to open up a new image adjustment panel in my workflow. So we've added some basic tools that you guys are all used to. We added a histogram. We added the ability to adjust the curves and to adjust levels, and to adjust some other basic presets or adjustments such as brightness, contrast, hue, saturation, luminance, lightness, RGB values, color temp, and exposure. So what I can do with these tools is I can take any particular image that I want to, and I can very quickly just make an adjustment to it. Okay, so I'm just bumping up the exposure a little bit on this particular image. Now let's say this is a common thing that we need to use a lot within our studio. So what I can do is take these adjustments that I've made here, and I can save them as a new preset. So we'll call this our exposure adjustment, exposure preset. So now that preset has been saved into my system. It's available right down here. I can go up to my drop down here and I can apply presets, and you'll see that we assigned a hotkey to that preset, Control F8. So now anytime I click on an image, if I see, oh yeah, I got to apply my exposure adjustment on that, I can press Control F8, and that adjustment has been made to that image. Now it is a non-destructive adjustment, so at any time I can just go back to no adjustments, which goes right back to the original image. Let's say you got a particular shot that you're working on. You spend a little bit of time kind of fixing up a couple of things, and you're happy with it. But now I got 4 other images that are also taken at the same time that are very similar. So what I can do, if I don't want to mess with my presets, I could go up here to my adjustment window, copy those current adjustments to my clipboard, or just press my hotkey, which is Control-C. So I'm going to press Control-C on my keyboard. I could highlight these other, let's say there's 3 other images, and press Control-V or paste. And I'll apply that same adjustment that I did to one image and apply that to those other images very, very quickly. Okay? So these are just some pretty standard adjustments that you can make very quickly within the software, and using the preset capabilities, it should make it as a real powerful tool. However, we decided to go a little bit further. All of you guys are professional photographers, much more knowledgeable about photography than I am. But a couple of things that I've learned as far as working with some different imaging experts in the industry is that there are certain limitations that are inherent within digital photography, within the limitations of the camera that have to be addressed. And that's nothing to do with how good of a photographer you are or how great the shot was, but there are certain limitations within the camera that just sometimes have to be corrected. For example, cameras will often pick up infrared in the face that our natural eye cannot see, but the camera does. So that's why you end up with a lot of red tinted faces, and that would need to be corrected. So what we did is we added a perfectly clear plugin into the software. Okay? Perfectly Clear is an award-winning, patented technology that's available that has the ability to apply automatic image correction to every one of your images independently. Okay? So it's not a blanket preset that just says, hey, take all these images and bump up the exposure. What it does is it takes every single image, it looks at it and determines out of the 9 different image adjustments that we've built in, which of those image adjustments need to automatically be applied to this image to fix some of those limitations from the camera. And for example, even in their exposure tool, they will go through and do a pixel by pixel look at every pixel to determine what exposure adjustments need to be corrected for a particular image. It is really amazing stuff when you see it in action. When we saw it, and we talked to some of our customers and showed it to them, we realized this would be a valuable feature to build right into our workflow. So right here in the panel, you'll see Perfectly Clear. That's where you view the Perfectly Clear plugin. Here are all of the image correction features that they have built in. And for example, here's that pixel by pixel exposure adjustment. Fidelity, vibrance. We've also added skin smoothing capabilities. So I'll show you that in a moment. Some sharpening, skin tone adjustments, which is going to take care of some of that infrared in the face. A light diffusion, if you want to add kind of a light diffusion to your images, you can do that. And all of these can also be used with our preset capabilities. So let me give you an example of how this might work. So I'm going to click on a session here. I'm going to collapse my panel just to give me a little bit more working space. And here's an image. Here's an image that was shot. Beautiful shot. Photographer did a great job. But we got an image that's a little flat. And so what we're going to do is we're not going to go through and make a bunch of adjustments. All we're going to do is say we want to apply my Perfectly Clear preset to this image. And so it will change that image from that to that. Okay? Again, you're not having to go through and make a bunch of decisions. We can just say apply these presets to all of these images, and it will automatically make these changes. So here's another before and after comparison. Here's a great shot as a wedding, little underexposed, but we certainly don't want to just bump up the exposure on this, or we're going to start blowing out the detail in her dress and losing some of that detail up in the clouds. So Perfectly Clear has the ability to automatically scan that and view the detail and do a kind of a pixel by pixel image correction in that image. Here's another shot at a wedding reception. Here's a good example of some of that infrared that the camera is picking up. So we're going to do two things. We're going to, Perfectly Clear is going to do this. It's going to remove some of that redness and also just kind of soften up that skin a little bit using some of the skin smoothing. I got a great image here that shows that skin smoothing capabilities a little bit. We have a great, beautiful model. Got a little bumpy action going on the forehead there. So we will apply some of the skin smoothing, and it's just going to clean some of that up for you. And one more. We have a little newborn shot here. Got some redness. Now we don't want to take out all that newborn redness, but we want to just kind of clean that up a little bit and maybe soften up that skin. So we're going to apply the Perfectly Clear newborn preset to this particular image. Okay, so now you've seen some examples of this. Let me show you this actually in action. I'm going to click on a brand new session, and I'm going to go and import some images off my card reader. So hopefully you guys are familiar with our import images tool. It's a great time saver for you. So we're just going to pretend that we're browsing right to a camera card. This import images screen is going to copy all those high res or raw files off the camera card. We're going to rename all of those images to give it a user-friendly image name. We're going to create some JPEG preview files. We're going to automatically resize the images. We'll do auto rotates. We could automatically crop these as 8x10s if I wanted to. And I'm automatically going to apply the Perfectly Clear, one of my Perfectly Clear presets that I built into the system. Okay? There's other features that you could use if you wanted to create an immediate archive or backup of those images, or add some metadata to those images. But I'm just going to stick with these things for now and click Import. So this one screen is a great tool. Hopefully you guys all use it to copy all of your images over and to manage the folder structure for all of your sessions that are going on, to create that immediate archive or backup of the images so that if anything ever happens to an image, you have a backup copy of it. And it's asking us to advance the status, and I'm going to say no. Okay, so here are my images. They have all been auto-rotated. They've automatically been applied the Perfectly Clear plugin, and automatically applied skin smoothing. So if I go to my hotkeys here, again, it's non-destructive, so at any time I can go back to the original. There we go. So that was the original image there. I don't know how well you can see that on the video projector, but certainly we'll be able to show you some of these things a little bit more. And that's with the Perfectly Clear a preset applied. Yep.
So we found this at the BBI on.
Yep. Yes.
But can we take, that's a question for them.
Yeah.
When you upgrade to this, you don't have to buy Perfectly Clear.
That is correct. Perfectly Clear does sell a Photoshop and a Lightroom plugin that provides a lot of the same functionality. Not even, actually, they don't even provide the skin smoothing at the moment, but it does apply the same technology. So you can, if you want to do Lightroom and Photoshop work, you can use their plugin, but no, you are not required to purchase their plugin in order to take advantage of it inside Spectra. Okay? Now, because this is a technology that we are licensing from them, we are going to charge an annual fee to be able, for you guys to be able to use the Perfectly Clear functionality. Okay, you have all of the presets, all of the standard image adjustments capabilities that I first showed you. All of that's available to you. But if you want to use the Perfectly Clear patented technology, then there will be a small kind of annual fee from us to be able to use that plugin. The fee, we'll be announcing that fee a little bit later. However, I'll just make this announcement right now. for all of you guys here at the user conference, we're giving all of you guys a 1-year free subscription to use the Perfectly Clear technology inside Spectra at no charge. Okay, for one of your locations. For those of you that. Yes, yep. Now, just to clarify, in the Stratus desktop app, yes. It's not yet been added to the Stratus web app, but as long as you're using Stratus desktop, yes, all the same functionality is going to be there for you. So just imagine how much time something like this could save you. You quickly import the images, you will automatically apply the presets, you are now ready to do a sales presentation. Or you're ready to upload the images to inspiredbyyou.com, our online e-commerce solution for immediate online viewing. Okay? Without having to take these images into Lightroom or Photoshop and clean them up, it can do all of that for you. Okay? Now, we'll talk a little bit more in depth in some of our advanced digital workflow about, what's the whole rest of the workflow look like? What if I do want to do some more adjustments to these images? What if I do want to take them into Photoshop and do some more work on them? We'll talk about all those things in detail in our advanced digital workflow session. But hopefully, this could be a huge time saver for you guys and allow you guys to be able to turn things around very quickly to do your sales presentations and do your online image previews for you. Okay, let's move on a little bit. So hopefully you guys really like that feature, or we'd love to get your feedback from you guys, how you could apply this. We've seen it in action in a couple places, especially those customers that do a lot of high volume, do a lot of seniors, do a lot of outdoor type stuff, or you want to have really quick turnaround times. It's a great tool, and so we'd love to get feedback from you on that. Okay, let's move on and talk a little bit about ProSelect. For many of you guys know that we have a lot of built-in sales presentation capabilities right into our software. Josiah will be leading a seminar on our sales presentation capabilities. But I know we have a lot of customers that still really like to use ProSelect for their sales presentations. So we made some enhancements to our integration with ProSelect, and I'd like to talk to you about that a little bit. First of all, we now have the ability to import payment information from ProSelect. So if you do record your payment in ProSelect, we'll import that payment information over into Spectra. We've also made some enhancements as to how we link to those images that you sold in ProSelect, in the ProSelect sales presentation. So by combining the enhancements that we made to ProSelect with some of these new enhancements I just got done talking about, we think that we have probably one of the best integrations with ProSelect when it comes to the full business management and digital workflow. So imagine this. You're in Spectra, you've already booked the session, you've already booked the appointment, and you got done doing the photo shoot. So you click on the session, you import the images off the memory card, just like I did here with this senior. Spectra will automatically copy over the high res, automatically create the JPEG previews, automatically apply the Perfectly Clear plugin and the adjustments and the skin smoothing, and can automatically create an immediate archive and backup of those files. Does all of that for you. Then you can flip over to ProSelect, do the sales presentation using those same images. So the skin has been smoothed and fixed and corrected. Do your sales presentation very quickly. There's not going to be a lot of long turnaround time before you're ready to do that sales presentation. Do that presentation in ProSelect like you normally would. Take the customer's order. And then once you're done, you can flip back over to Spectra. All you do is you just click on the session, and you, I don't think I have it turned on right now, but right here it would say import my ProSelect order. It would import that order into this session. It would create the invoice and link with those images that you sold in ProSelect. Now, what the beauty of this is, any time that I go and open up this customer's record in the future, I will always see all of the images that have been photographed, and I will also see every single image that was actually ordered through ProSelect. Okay? And if I were to drill down, I don't have any invoices here, but if I were to drill down and open up that invoice that was created by our integration, you would see what was ordered in ProSelect, and you would see the thumbnail for every one of those images. Okay? Yes, it'll be the composited. So if you did sell a multi-image composite in ProSelect, that's what you're going to see here. You're going to see a preview of that multi-image composite. That I'm not 100% sure of. I think the answer is no. I think you would flip back to ProSelect if you needed to render out that that flattened composite. Yep.
How about the room view feature? If I sold a cluster of gallery wraps within ProSelect, will it load in just like the multi-image openings will and show me what that looked like that they ordered? If that was a sold product, basically whatever you put into your ProSelect cart,
that is what's going to get transferred over. So any other images that you show or preview, that the customer does not purchase, they would not get transferred over. Okay. Okay. So that's we're really excited about that. We appreciate our friends over at ProSelect kind of working with us to kind of build that integrated solution, and we hope that for those of you that are still using ProSelect, and it's a great piece of software, we love using it, and so if that's you, then that's some nice little features that you can start using within your workflow. Okay, let's go through and talk about some other things. I'm going to go open up a client record. I don't know if you've noticed this, but there are a couple little updated look and feel type things with Spectre 2014. You'll notice that a lot of the ribbons have been updated with some updated icons. We've also kind of removed some of the gradations that were in the previous version. So it's a very simplified, very elegant look in 2014. And we did it also for kind of a strategic purpose. As you notice, a lot of apps are kind of going to this very simplified, flat icons and tools, and that was a big part of iOS 7 when they came out with that. And not only does it look good and it's very pleasing to the eye to look at, but there's some real practical reasons for it as well. First of all, it's easier on the processor of the computer not to have to render out fancy graphics like that. So it saves battery life for those of you that use tablets and laptops and stuff like that. It actually can cut down on battery. And also for those of you that maybe use tools like Remote Desktop or Log Me In or Go to My PC and you're remoting in, those tools will actually run faster with Spectre 2014 because it can draw those screenshots much quicker than before. So we hope that you kind of like the new look and feel to the software. Okay, on the client record, we added some neat little things I want to highlight. First of all, we know that not all of your customers are consumers. For some of you, you have business customers that you work with, and you need to keep track of them. So we've added the ability to define a client type. Is this a consumer or is this a business? Okay? We know that businesses don't have family members, okay? So if you change this to a business, these are your contacts that you work with within that business. And instead of it being relationship, that's the person's title or their position within the company. We get their phone numbers and their email addresses showing up there as well. When you do a job, so let's say you're doing a job for a corporate customer or you're doing a job for a school. So the school is actually your client. When you create the session or the job record, you can now define who is your contact person for this session, for this job. Okay, so that will be added. That's added on the session screen as well. Okay, so kind of call business to business relationship or business to consumer type relationship, B2B, B2C.
Quick question,
Yeah.
if you don't mind. Can you search under each person under that business?
Great question. That was not planted either. Okay, so right here.
My 20 later.
On the Client Hub, we added the ability to search not only the main contact, but any of the sub-contacts, which either be family members for consumers or contacts within your business. So I would click on that, and now when I type in Hunt, it's going to search all of those records for you. Okay? So we'll include those or exclude those depending on what you want. Okay, great.
Just
Yep.
clarification, include families when you toggle that would include business clients.
It does. Yep, yep. They're all kind of stored the same way. They're like sub-contacts underneath this main client record. So whether it's a family member or if it's a contact for a business, it's all included in there. Yep. If there are any of you, I don't think there's any of you here, but if there's anyone here that primarily services businesses, actually there are some folks here, okay? You can actually go into your studio preferences and set business as the default, okay? So that way it will default as a business-to-business relationship for all of your customers instead of the business-to-consumer.
So, if you have a relative,
Yes,
then become a client.
yes.
The main consumer. So I take a bride, they have a child, that child becomes a senior, then they become their own client.
Yes, yes.
Is there a
Okay, now this question was not planted either, but as long as you brought it up, in 2014, when Miranda here has now become 18 years old, and so we want to split her off to become her own client record, I now have the ability to right-click on her record and say, create a new client record based on this family member. Yeah, it's the little things that I get the applause over, okay?
Forget the desktop strategy.
I know. Okay, it took us 5 minutes to do that. I don't know. No, seriously. Okay, guys, I seriously want you to know, we do listen to you guys, okay? When you guys do make suggestions, we do log it, okay? We know that this was a highly requested feature, and obviously it's shown here today. So that's a new feature of 2014, okay?
So does she stay there as a family member?
She will stay there, yep. And then in Miranda's record, we automatically set the referred by back to who the original client record was, the parents or whoever it might be.
So does that work the same for a business category?
Yes.
So we do all of the new doctors portraits for the hospitals when they come in, and if I've got, 20 doctors listed, one of those doctors now comes in for family portraits.
Absolutely. Yep, same thing.
Oh, that's great.
Yep, right-click on it and create a new client. It doesn't matter if it's a family member or a contact.
Will it still stay listed in that family?
Yes, we do not remove it from the original.
Is there a way too, if you already got somebody as a separate client, you can link them back to the group business as well?
Going the other direction? Yeah, we do not. If I'm understanding you correctly, do we have the ability to take a second? So that's we've got two client records, and now we kind of want to take the second client and put them in as a contact underneath the original client. So is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah, just like for our weddings, when we enter the family members.
Yep.
Now we can just right click, make new clients.
Yep.
Is that the best way to enter?
I think so.
Mother of the bride is just.
Yep.
this-
Yep, I think so. Okay. We also added some social networking fields over here on the right. So if it's a business, you could enter in their web address. Consumer people, you could track their Facebook site, their Twitter, LinkedIn. And so I can just click these shortcuts. It'll take me right to their Facebook wall or to their website. So some nice little CRM type functionality to track social networking. We also added the ability for Spectra. Let's say you import a bunch of leads into the system and you set all their client statuses to be a prospect. And as those customers book appointments, Spectra now has the ability to automatically change the client status from one status, for example, prospect, to another status, like current client, automatically for you when you go to book their session or record their invoice. So the first time you do a financial record for them or you book an actual session, it will now automatically change their status, the client status for you, if you want it to, just depending on how you have client statuses set up and how you're using them. But if you want it to make that change for you automatically, it can do that. Okay?
The system is making it so I never have to have employees.
We're trying to dummy proof it as much as we can, but we'll get there. Sam?
Yeah, can you set
Yep.
Automated task setting.
Yes.
Inactive.
Yes. Well, not change their task. Actually, let me talk about this. Let me come back to that. I got something new that I think will address that. Okay? Okay, now let's go and drill down to a session record. I'll show you some changes that have been made down there. For those of you who shoot on location, or let's say you're doing an event, it's a wedding, or you're doing an event at a particular location off-site, you now have the ability to track what time does the client want you to arrive. So for example, the main session time up here, let's say this is a wedding, and the wedding is from, let's say it's from 12 to 2 is the wedding, okay? But the client has requested that you arrive there a half an hour early, or maybe you require your photographers to arrive there a half hour early, so you're going to set the arrival time at 11:30. And you also know that, you know what, it's going to take us about 30 minutes to get there, so 30 minutes is my drive time, okay? So now this information can be available to you on the calendar, okay? And so we can actually block out this wedding off my calendar. Instead of it being instead of it being from 12 to 2, it's going to block it out from 11 to 2 because it knows that I am not available because I have to arrive at the wedding at 11:30 and I got a 30-minute drive time to get there. So I want to block out that full, that full extra hour off my calendar.
Does it block it time for you to get back too?
At the moment, no. That's a very good idea. Yeah.
What was that question?
I'm sorry. She wanted to know, does it track the drive time to get back? So, for example, if the event ends at 2 o'clock, I know I got a 30-minute drive back. Should the calendar block off an extra 30 minutes to make sure no one books another appointment for me? And my response was, no, we don't do that. So, but that's a good idea. So we will document that and see if we can enhance it.
Or we can have the session at the same place that you're at.
Yeah.
So just make it the same session where you are.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Make sure that you have selected the outside location from this list here. When you select outside location for the camera room, then they should become visible. You also can set defaults to this. So for example, if we do a lot of events at this particular park or at the conservatory or at the beach or whatever, and we know it's always a 40-minute drive time. So you can default that in your on-location preferences, and so it will automatically pop that drive time in there for you.
Is it only available in sessions or in appointments as well?
At the moment, it's sessions only. Yep. That's a good idea. Okay. Stuart's taking notes back there. So arrival time and drive time on the appointment screen. I might be wrong, but I don't think that we added it on the appointment screen. Yep, Sam?
Is it supposed to be available on the advanced calendar as well?
Yes. Yep. So let's try that out. So I'm going to go to advanced calendar. Now make sure that it's set to outside location.
Yeah.
But see, I have it here on mine. So I got drive time and arrival time. So if it's not showing you,
I see that. Sorry.
okay? Okay, good. Also on the session screen, oops, didn't mean to do that. Let's go back in. If you go to the custom tab, we added a ton of new custom fields. Every time we always add more and more custom fields, and we think, oh, this will be plenty. Customer would never need more than 5 custom fields. Why would you ever need more than 5? And a week later, a customer calls up and says, well, we need another field to track this or track that. So now you have 32, I don't know why 32, but you have 32 text fields. You have 10 custom notes fields, which are unlimited amount of characters and information. You have 10 checkboxes, and you have 10 dates. Hopefully that will last us another year before we have to add any more. All of these labels can be custom defined in the custom label maintenance screen, so you can change any of those labels and use them however you want to. Okay? Okay, let's drill down and take a look at an invoice. show you some enhancements that we made there. I think this is the one that I want. So I don't know how many of you actually knew this. This is one of those little hidden gems a lot of customers did not know about. But if you were to maximize an invoice, so we have the full screen to work with, and assuming you got a nice big monitor, you're not working on some little, dinky thing. When you go to the Order Detail tab, you've always been able to see the image over here on the left for each one of your line items. Okay? A lot of customers didn't know that you could do that. Yeah.
How come the order details in the default screen when you open an invoice? Because I click general, I never use that.
Sure. That's a good point. It's probably was created that way 17 years ago, and it's just never been changed.
I open that as I click the
It's always the detail. That's a good point. Yep. Okay, so, but now what we've done in 2014, I mean, this, before, like I said, this ability to view the image here on the left has always been there, but it was very limited. You couldn't do a whole lot with it. It was always designed that you created the invoice in the sales presentation, and now here when I open up the invoice, I just simply want to view the image for reference purposes. So it was very limited. Now what we've done in 2014 is we have taken all of that imaging functionality that you have, like in the digital workflow and in the sales presentation, and we built it right into the invoice form itself. So as I'm going through these images, I can right click on an image and I have all the same functionality that I have when I'm in a sales presentation. I can go over here and I could take this image here. I want to order an 8x10 of it, just like I would in the sales presentation. I can remove my crop, I can recrop it, I can change it how I want it to be. Okay, save it. I can go ahead and click on this new button for the ribbon called editing, and I can build a new composite right here in the invoice without having to go into the sales presentation to do that. Yeah, so all that functionality that you're used to has been added to here.
Is that new?
So you can actually crop while you're taking an order and have the order ready.
Yes, yep. Before, you could do that, but you always had to flip into the sales presentation mode to do that. You had to go into our sales presentation to actually do the cropping and do changing images to black and white and sepia and doing all that stuff. Now you don't have to go into the sales presentation. You can just do it right here. For example, if you're taking an order over the phone, a customer can't make it in, but they want to place an order. Why have to go on to do a full sales presentation if they're not there? I just want to quickly create an invoice, create the crop, set black and white, sepia, colors, any of that kind of stuff right from within the invoice screen. Or maybe this invoice was created in the sales presentation, and this is an after the fact type thing. I want to open it up and I want to tweak it a little bit. I didn't have time to kind of fix the cropping exactly how I want. So I want to open up an invoice that was created earlier in the sales presentation and modify it and tweak it here in the invoice. Okay? I have a quick question. How many of you guys ship products via UPS to your customers? Okay. So we actually added integration with UPS. Not at the moment. Right now it's UPS only, but now we've got the first one under our belt. We'll look at adding some of the other ones. So we can link this with your UPS account. And for example, I could say ship now. It would go up to UPS's website, automatically create the shipment, create the tracking number, and automatically print out the shipping label for you. We can either print out real shipping labels if you have a UPS printer, okay, or we can just print out the label onto a plain sheet of paper and stick it inside the plastic envelope thing. And once you're done, it will automatically come back and stamp in the ship date and the tracking number. So once I do that, this label here changes from ship now to track it. So now if the customer says, hey, I haven't received my order, I can open this up, I can click track it, it'll take me to the UPS website and tell me the exact status of that shipment.
Can you email the customer
The tracking number, yes. This is a mergeable field. So you could add this to an email and say your order has shipped, and here is your tracking information.
Yes.
Exactly.
Awesome.
If we're not using UPS, can we put another carrier's tracking number in there and have it work that way?
Yes, yep, we did leave these two fields as editable. So if you want to stamp in today's date and time and just paste in a tracking number, you can. The tracking button will not work because that's hard-coded to UPS, but it's available for you to track your other shipments. And again, you could use this as a merge field if you wanted to send them an email with that tracking number built right in. Cool. Okay, let's go down another level. Let's go into our production orders. For those of you that have been using production orders within Spectra, you've noticed that that has been one of our old style screens that was in need of an update. I can tell you today that our production order form has been completely rebuilt and updated in 2014. So we added a lot of neat little features in it. So this is the production order. For those who don't know what production orders are, these are the ability to track the orders that you are placing with your vendors, whether it's a lab, a frame company, an album company, whatever it might be. What are the products that you need to order from your outside vendors in order to fulfill this order that you received from your customers? Okay, so that's what production is all about, and it's a very sophisticated module. We have a session Saturday morning kind of devoted to back-end production tracking. But let me show you a couple highlights here. First of all, this form also has maximize capability, so I can maximize it, take up my whole screen. And now when I go to my order detail tab, I have all of that same functionality here. So if I'm a back office person and I'm responsible to get the orders ready to ship off to the lab, maybe before I render these images out, I want to do a little bit of tweaks on my own. And so I can see right here with my tooltip, let's get that back, that the customer ordered a 5x7 of this print. If I click here, it also lists them over here. These are all the products that the customer has ordered for this particular image. If there were any special retouching notes or instructions that were given by the salesperson, that would also show up for me to view here in the production. And then I can use our integration with Photoshop to click retouch, which will automatically open up the original high-res file for me in Photoshop, so I can apply any fixes that I want to. And then when I'm done with that, we give you another little window that hovers over Photoshop where you click done, and then Spectra will automatically refresh the JPEG preview in Spectra to show the retouching that you did in Photoshop. When I'm happy with all of my retouching, I would then click render all the ordered images, which will actually create the flattened images that have automatically been cropped and colorized and retouched. Every image is produced pixel perfect, ready to be sent off to your lab. So all of that functionality has been really kind of tightly integrated into our production order module in 2014.
Is it saved on a separate folder like retouch?
Yes, yeah, exactly. We manage a separate folder for each one of those. For the original high-res files that have been untouched, the retouched files that came from Photoshop, and then the rendered files that are flattened and ready to be sent off to the lab. There's some other enhancements that we did here in production orders. While we were here, we thought, well, let's enhance a couple other things. First of all, a production order can now be assigned to a department. So if you have a particular department, like I want to assign this to my album department or my yearbook department, maybe it's one person or two people, but you can assign it to that department instead of to an individual. We also added a communication ribbon here, because we know a lot of times when you're working with an order, you may want to quickly send an email out to a customer. So I can go here and I can record a phone call. Maybe I called the customer up because I had a question about their order, so I want to record those notes. Or I want to send them a text message, hey, your order is ready for pickup. Or I send them an email, print out a form letter. So all of our standard communication features have been added right into the production order screen. And we've also added tasks. Tasks is a very powerful feature. I think I talk about that a little bit later today. So now in 2014, you can set up triggers to automatically create tasks based on any of your production order statuses. So for example, if you change a status to say whatever it might be, create whatever statuses you want, if you create a status that says, needs album production or album modifications, it can automatically create a task for you and assign it to a particular individual. So now that task will show up on their home page or their task list as an item that's been assigned to them. So we'll go through that a little bit more in our when we talk about tasks a little bit later today. But anyway, that's a new feature that production orders can now automatically create tasks. There are some other little goodies that we throw in there. Obviously, the little goodies are what gets the greatest applause. So, another common requested feature, right, Tim, is the ability to highlight multiple sessions on the hub and click Advanced Status and change the status of all of these sessions at once. Okay? I got an email from Tim a couple weeks ago saying, this would be a great feature. I said, well, Tim, just wait till our user conference and you will see it. Okay? Not only does this apply to sessions, but any record that has status capabilities. So I could take a whole group of clients and change its status. Or for example, let's say I go and I create a filter, and I want to find, as Sam was saying earlier, I want to find all of my inactive customers. So all my customers that are in the system that have not, done an order or done a session the past couple years, find all of those people, and I got 710 in that list, and I could say, I'm going to advance the status of all of them to client inactive or whatever. Okay? It's been added to the invoice page as well. And calls doesn't have statuses, but tasks, it's been added there. And production orders as well. Yep. So all of those now have that capability. Like that?
Different adjustments made to the filter tool because
Yes.
that one, great.
Yep.
I can filter down schools, groups of sessions like we did with all fall.
That's right.
And just
Find all of the students, maybe everyone who's graduating in 2014. So everyone with the grad year of 2014. Take those and change their status to say, previous
session
student.
and, ready to upload.
Yeah. Yep.
And the trigger and upload.
Yep, that's right. Yep. So you take all of these. So Tim does a lot of volume work with schools. So he has a whole batch of sessions, and let's say he got done getting all of them ready to go, and now he wants to upload them all up to Inspired by You at once. So he can take all of those sessions for that school, advance the status to say ready for upload. And with our control center can be set up to automatically start uploading all those images up to Inspired by You and trigger an email to the customer that their images are uploaded, ready for them to view. And now Tim doesn't have to go through and do those one at a time. He can go through and highlight them all and do it all and let it go. Okay? We did. Yep. We also did some speed improvements. We all love speed improvements, okay? So let me give you an example of some of the improvements that we made here. I'm going to go to my Invoice Hub, which has pretty much about 20,000 records in it. We've always had these tools up here, filter the data, group by box, or show totals. Those have been there. The problem is when you clicked on them before, you would always get a warning that, this tool is not really recommended if you have more than 500 records that you're viewing. It just kind of bogged down and slowed down. So we did some improvements to that. And so to give you a feel for how fast this works, I got 20,000 records viewing, and I'm going to click Filter the Data. And I'm going to just do a filter right on the fly. I'm going to click on my invoice date here. Here's all my years. I'm going to unclick all. And I want to view everything in all my invoices for 2012. Click OK. And boom, it's done. So now it has found all of my 2012 invoices for me like that. Okay? So I could add more filtering capabilities. Or another thing I can do is show my group by box. You know what? Let's remove this filter. So now I'm back to all 20,000 records. And I want to group all of my records by their invoice. Do I have invoice status showing? Let's see, do I got, oh yeah, I do. I just got a bunch of blanks. But I'm going to take and group it by their invoice status. I'm going to drag that to my group by field like that. Okay, 20,000 records have now been grouped by their invoice status. And now I'm going to tell it to show me totals, and boom, it's done. Here's are the totals for each one of my status categories. So all of these tools here, filtering the data, doing your group bys, and doing show totals, now works very, very fast. And even if you're using like Stratus Desktop, okay, and I got all these 20,000 records up in the cloud, it's not going to be quite as fast as if it was all local, but it is very, very fast. I can search through all my 20,000 records up in the cloud and do a filter search, a group by, and total very, very quickly. Okay?
Why do you need one or the other thing?
Why
If you're going to be working off cycle life.
Why do you need the cloud-based versus the Spectra? Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit later. I could probably talk 10 minutes on that. And so there are just different advantages and disadvantages of a cloud-based solution over a local desktop, a local, what we call an on-premise solution, which means your database and everything is on your premise. One is a difference in pricing model. One, you own the software. The other is a subscription model. And there's differences in how we kind of manage the data and stuff like that. So, but we can talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I purchased the 2-user agreement, and the advantage that I see for doing the Stratus is that I don't have to buy the 2-user agreement. I can access it from any computer, anytime, anywhere.
Yep.
From my studio at the back where the 2 users are. So that would be my advantage to use.
Yeah. Yep.
Is Stratus operating system independent?
Yes. Yeah, okay, that's a good question. So let me just clarify. Stratus is operating system independent, which means that if you're using the web app, the web portion of Stratus, you can use that from Mac or PC. You just need a browser. There's 2 browsers that we recommend, either Chrome or Firefox. They're both free. Just download them, install them. Those are the 2 that we test the most when we're doing our development. It works on Safari too, but it's just not as, we don't test as much with Safari. So Chrome or Firefox, and run it from Mac or PC. However, the Stratus desktop app, which is basically the same thing as Spectra, with a different color and different look on it, that is still a PC-based, software. So you would still have to run that on your PC or on your virtual machine, like Windows, Parallels or VMware. So if you're using the full-blown Stratus desktop app, you have to have Windows. If you're running the web app, you can run that in any kind of browser, cross-platform. Okay. Another speed improvement that we did was in the workflow. So I'm going to turn my image adjustments off here. For those of you that shoot weddings, or you got hundreds of images in every one of your sessions, in the previous version of Spectra, you would kind of watch this counter kind of grow down here as it was loading all of those images in there. And if you were doing some kind of a mass update, like I was trying to change all of my images to a green or selected ranking or something, you'd have to kind of wait and kind of watch that, go through and process that. So we did some speed improvements here in the workflow. So to illustrate this, I think it's this one at the bottom. I want you to watch this lower left corner where it says 25 images. I'm going to click on a new session. No, sorry, not that one. Okay, let's try it again. Watch on the lower left corner. It's going through, and it just finished loading 200 images, like that. Okay, so much faster than before. In addition, I can do some other things, like I could do a Control-A to select them all. That was instant. And I'm going to change them all from yellow tags, which are undecideds, to reds. Just by pressing my key, and boom, all of them have been changed to reds. Change them back to greens, change them back to yellows. I could apply change them all to black and white. Okay, that's done. And again, I'm working with 200 images as I'm doing this. Okay, or change them all back to color. Or go ahead and apply one of my perfectly clear presets. So I did a Control F2. It's going through and adjusting all of those on the fly. So we put a real significant investment into how can we improve the performance of Spectra, both on the main grids as well as in the workflow. Okay. Another thing that we did, it's not a real sexy feature, but it's kind of an important one. One of the common tech support issues that we get is customers calling up and saying, I got this error on my screen that Spectra can't find the data files, okay? And a lot of times what happens is in a database environment like this, we have to maintain a very strong connection between the workstation and your database. So if anything happens in that not that internet connection, but just your local network connection, there's a little blip in that connection for some reason, Spectra would complain. Said, hey, I lost the connection to the database, I can't continue. You would have to exit out and come back in. Well, what we did in 2014 is we added a feature that Spectra will automatically detect when it loses its connection to the database. And then it will display a little message for you on the screen that we've lost our connection to the database. We're going to attempt to reconnect automatically. Sometimes those blips in your connection to the database are very quick. You don't even notice them. So it's just going to reconnect automatically for you, and you don't even see it. Other times it might sit there for a little while. Maybe you lost your Wi-Fi connection or something, and so it might just sit there for a minute. But then as soon as that connection comes back online, as soon as you're connected back to your network, then Spectra will automatically reconnect to your database. If after about 3 minutes or so, it still can't reconnect, then it's going to give you kind of a user-friendly message that, sorry, it appears that we've permanently lost the connection. Maybe you took your laptop home with you and you forgot to close out a Spectra. So you get home, you open it up, and obviously it can't connect to your database back at the studio. So you would get a nice friendly message that way. Yep.
Would those error messages happen in Stratus?
Okay, so a good point. I mean, part of the reason that we added these enhancements is for the Stratus desktop app. So for example, if I'm running Stratus desktop and I'm connected to a database up in the cloud, if I lose my internet connection for a moment, a lot of times you see the little symbol down it, I lost Wi-Fi or lost my internet connection. You will see the exact same thing in the Stratus desktop app. It will say, hey, we've lost our connection to the database. We're just going to attempt to reconnect automatically. As soon as your internet connection comes back on, it will just automatically reconnect and right where you left off. Okay? Yep.
I haven't gotten accustomed to importing through Spectra yet in another way, but we're wanting to do it wirelessly. Can you wirelessly from the camera directly into Spectra?
Yeah, we do. We have a couple options that allow you to shoot what we call tethered, whether it means that you're tethered with a actual USB cable or you're shooting wirelessly. But the point is that the images are automatically being copied over to the PC. We do have a couple options. One is called, actually I think the best one is going to be called group capture. And group capture, and there's a lot of really neat things that you can do with group capture. And I think I cover that in the advanced digital workflow. It's either 1 or 2, I don't remember. But we'll go over shooting wirelessly and using our group capture capabilities. Okay. So anyway, these are a couple of the highlights as to what's inside Spectra 2014. I by no means have covered everything. There are 8 pages of enhancements that we documented in 2014. Inside on your USB drives is a handouts folder. If you were to open up that handouts folder, inside there is a document, I think it's called something like What's New in 2014. Does that sound right, Judy? So in there is a 8-page document that details all of the new features that are in Spectra and Stratus 2014. Over the next 3 days, we'll be touching on these and highlighting them. But if you want to kind of read through the list when you're bored, feel free to start kind of looking at some of the other features that we have added. It's important for you guys to know that virtually 98% of everything that we add as enhancements to the software comes as direct suggestions from you guys. And many of them actually came from our user conference last year. So we do our best to document every suggestion that's made. We do our best to, and let me tell you, there are hundreds of them, okay? There are hundreds, maybe thousands of suggestions that we get of new features and changes that we should make. So what we do is we do our best to prioritize those. How often has this suggestion been made to us? If so, let's get it bumped up and get it added to the software. If you make a suggestion, and it is a great suggestion, but you are the only person in the world that wants this, it does not mean that it is going to get added to the software, so don't be expecting it in the next release. We'll do our best to accommodate them, but literally we get hundreds of suggestions every year, and we just have to prioritize them and decide what is going to service the broadest range of customers that we possibly can. So what that also means is during this user conference, feel free to interject and to add suggestions. At every class, we have somebody, one of our staff members is designated to take notes, and all those suggestions will get documented and will get fed into our system, and very good chance that come next year you may see your suggestion. And it doesn't have to mean a year from now. We're doing updates throughout the whole year, so it could actually come sooner rather than later. Okay? As I kind of wrap up this session, I want you to think a little bit about what it is that you would like to be able to gain from the next 3 days. Okay? We are going to overload you guys with so much content, your head will explode come Saturday night. Okay? And you will probably retain this much information come Sunday morning. Okay? So it's important for you guys to take good notes and really prioritize, of all the different things that we talk about, how important is this item to you and to your studio, and make yourself an action list. Okay? I'd love for you to go back and implement every single thing that we talked about, but you know what, I'm a realist. I know it's not going to happen. Okay? So prioritize, and when you get back, go through those select items that you gleaned from this conference that were most important to you and implement those. I often tell people, I know a lot of business coaches and stuff tell you to, come up with a 5-year plan or 10-year plan. Where do you want your business to be and stuff like that. That's all great. It's all important to do. But I encourage you guys just to think about, where would you like your business to be a year from now? I'm sure all of you guys are going to come back to our next user conference in 2015. And so when you come back a year from now, what is it that you want to achieve over the course of this year? And then look at the tools that we make available to you in our software and decide, how can we help you guys achieve those goals for the next year? Talk to us. Talk to us at lunch or at breakfast or between sessions, or ask questions during. Talk to other attendees and get ideas. Hey, anyone else uses this feature? I really want to get it implemented up and going. How do you use it? What have you learned? What's good? What's bad? And take advantage of those types of things over the next couple days, so that the goal is you can come away with a real good action list of items that you're going to implement over the upcoming weeks, and really make this conference as valuable as possible for you and for your studio. Okay? So with that, I think I'm out of time for our opening session. Hopefully I gave you a little feel as to what we've been up to over this past year and some of the new stuff that we've been working on, and we're really excited to get you guys up and running with the new version.